It's time for the Early Show. On today's show, we talk about your sports network with guests Will O'Brien and Richie Giuliani. Now here's your host, Preston Bosley.
Good morning. Thank you for starting your day with the Early Show. I'm your host, Preston Bosley. This morning, we have quite a show for you. Have you ever wanted to be a play-by-play announcer? Is this something that you've always wanted to do, but didn't know who to talk to? Where to look for an opportunity? Well, do I have a treat for you? This morning, we're going to talk about a local up-and-coming sports broadcasting company that is looking for people just like you. Your Sports Network is an Ohio-born company that streams local high school and collegiate sporting events for the local community to watch and enjoy. This morning, we are going to speak with two play-by-play announcers that work for YSN and pick their brains for all the juicy details. They tell you everything you need to know about YSN and their experiences with the company. So let's get started.
McElroy right now you see him right there, number 0, just trying to think what this team can do here. CP Money, Zach Papalo, he's going to check out too. Tally, second free throw, up, good. Ursuline has one more chance. 66 to 64, Tyler Beck, it's up and good! It's up and good! Oh my goodness! You can't make this up! You cannot make this up! What just happened? A dog pile! Doesn't matter if it's COVID or not! The Irish have won! The Irish have won! Brady Shannon hyping up! Tyler Beck, do your thing all night long! Coach Kelly Kyler, Jason Roy, they're all. Of course, God waved goodbye and East just took off.
The energetic young man you just heard is my first guest this morning. He carries a strong passion for play-by-play announcing and is majoring in telecommunications with a focus in sports broadcasting at Youngstown State University. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Will O'Brien! Welcome to the show. Well,
thank you. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Oh, of course. I'm always taking a nice seat over here. Appreciate it. Have to move my mask out of the way right there. I took it off. I think we're at a good distance, though, right now. We all have hand sanitizer here. We're all good.
Yep. It's just not visible right now.
Invisible hand sanitizer is what we call it.
All right, Will. So we're here to talk about YSN. So, how did you get started at YSN?
So funny story, actually. I got started from one of my friends' dads, stuff like that. So with a friend texted me, Dan Leslie, I call him D-Les. He texted me. He's like, hey, you want to shadow with YSN since my dad does it? He's, general manager. He's looking for some people. I'm like, sure, why not? That sounds like a great opportunity because I actually did put a thing in for DJ, like an application around 8 times, actually, from 2018 to 2020. So I finally was glad that I got that part right there. And, they basically kind of threw me in after, like, the third game for my first on-camera, like, mic experience and stuff like that, because I would only do, like, the camera during the games.
Oh, cool. So you would only do the camera during the games, and then they just put you into announcing? For
about 2 games, yeah. Then I started doing color commentator my third game, and I would do part-time for the 2019-2020 season. And then, of course, everything stopped after March because, the pandemic hit.
So when you're announcing, do you do the camera yourself, or does someone else do the camera for you while you're announcing?
Man, I wish someone did the camera for me, because let me just tell you right now, following that ball, especially when it comes to football, it's tough. It really is tough. But no, sometimes, you'll have someone that does the camera for you, and that's honestly, like, the best experience right there, because I've had someone at Cheney do it. He's like, JV ref, he's like, yeah, you mind if I do the camera? I'm like, go ahead. You might as well do the camera for me and stuff like that. It makes my life easier. And you can just tell it makes your life easier, too, because if you have to look down at a name and you have to also follow play, it really gets tedious sometimes.
So you mentioned like a few games that you did before while you were getting started and stuff. So what would you say that your favorite game is thus far that you've done?
Favorite game? Well, the one that you just saw right there. The one that you just saw in your preview, Ursuline East and stuff like that. And the thing is about the game, during the third quarter, we had like technical difficulties and stuff. So we actually had to stop our stream and then restream when the third, fourth quarter hit. Luckily, it went to overtime too, and we just saw that happen. And afterwards, you know, it was like, oh my goodness, it's going to go into another OT, or it's going to be a game winner. Then you saw the call right there, the Tyler Beck call that made the news and made FMJ basically all over Twitter, a bunch of views on Facebook. I mean, probably around 3 mil almost. So, I mean, there were a ton of views.
Nice. So you got a lot of views doing for the Ursuline East team.
Indeed, yeah, a lot of views and stuff like that, man. You know, it was really good. I know kids these days like to call it clout. So maybe I did get some clout here and there too.
You got some clout.
Yeah, you always got to get some clout here and there too. But no, you know, in all seriousness, you know, it was a great experience. And, you know, it's good for the kids too, because, you know, radio nowadays, you know, it's dying out and you barely have anyone broadcasting any more high school games. So, you know, we have YSN step up this year with cameras, doing full football games live with a broadcast of just radio. And especially with basketball too, it's been a real good experience for them.
All right, so you talked about how you do both high school and collegiate games.
I just do high school. The guy coming in later does collegiate games, but no, I just do high school.
You just do the high school. So what high schools do you have, like a set high school you usually go with, or do you just kind of all around?
Well, speaking of college games, I do actually work for the YSU football team, but that's not affiliated with YSN. But no, you know, I work mostly the Ursuline games, Steel Valley Conference, whenever they have me. Sometimes if like they need someone, I'll do like one of those public school games, like a Howland or Jackson Milne, a Sebring, if someone wants me to do Sebring with them. Jason, one of my broadcasting partners, and the coach for East wanted me to do a Sebring game with him. So I'm like, you know what, I should, why not? And, you know, it's a good experience just seeing all these different programs go in different places and stuff like that. There are a ton of trophies in like their Hall of Fames where that they have like from the 1930s where they were, I think it was the TICA or something like that, Columbiana, where they won that championship, or where they were conference champions in like 1994, district runner-ups in 94. Such a lot of history there whenever you go to places and just see all these different schools and all these basketball and football trophies that they have. And, you know, other sports too, like track and baseball.
So one could say that they also have some clout as well?
Oh, they have tons of clout. They've been having clout before the term clout even was a thing and stuff like that. So clout came in, 2015 or something like that? Yeah, 1930s clout is what they had right there, probably 1990s clout.
All right, so in terms of getting clout, someone has to start somewhere before they can get there.
Indeed, someone has to start somewhere before you get some clout.
So you started out with someone like pulling you into the industry.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone that doesn't necessarily have that in if they want to get into sports broadcasting?
Well, first of all, you know, if you're a sports broadcasting major, you know, you definitely want to shadow at a few places. I know YSU SID is a good one. You can always shadow with YSN too. You know, I know one of the guys from my other class, Eric, I think it is, just started with YSN shadowing as well. So, you know, that's always a good experience that you could really have when you're just new to it and you don't know what to do. And, you know, that's why you have friends. You know, you have people that you know say, hey, let me shadow with you, or ask them, and they're like, okay, you go for it and stuff like that. Or, you know, you can always email DJ Oakley and stuff. I think it's djoakley@gmail.com or at iCloud.com, one of the two. It's one of those two. I'll just have to look at my phone later for it. But you can always email him. You can always put in the applications, our contact information on the website. Just go there, and that's really how you could get in touch with anyone at YSN.
All right. Thank you, Will. All right. So it seems like it's time for our next guest. Now I'd like to bring out a fellow play-by-play announcer for YSN. My next guest has a passion for sports, a heart for broadcasting, and the golden pipes of the gods to back it all up. He's also a current student at Youngstown State University, as well as a sports broadcasting major.
He's it across for Warren Harding. Phillips driving baseline, steps back, the jumper, missed it short, got her own rebound, dishes it off, Bender from the corner for the win, got it! Bender hits the game winner, and Warren Harding at the buzzer stuns the Cardinals.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest, Richie Giuliano. Welcome to the show. Take a seat. All right. How are you doing this fine morning, Richie?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on. How are you?
I'm fine. It's early in the morning, you know. Got to get my coffee.
No, I feel you. I don't drink coffee, but, you know, I know a lot of people that do. I'm more of a Gatorade guy in the morning.
Got to get that sports drink going with the sports broadcasting.
Exactly.
Synergy, right?
Exactly. That's all you want.
All right. So let's get down to business. Tell me about your first sports broadcasting event.
Yeah, it's a unique one, and a great experience for me. It was actually at a minor league ballpark, and I did a YSU baseball game to start my first ever broadcast at YSU and with YSN as well, because they cover the YSU baseball team. And it's just a surreal experience going there. It's a ballpark that holds 10,000 people. Your box is right behind home plate, and it was just a great experience. I couldn't ask for anything better to start.
Nice. So you're talking about like thousands of people, and you're announcing for them. Like people are going to view this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you hope you get that many people to
you
view. This past weekend we did get a pretty good viewership, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, there's a good turnout. There's a game in specifically Ohio State when they came to play at Eastwood. There's about 5,000 people there, so it was a pretty cool environment to call a game with the windows open. You hear the crowd. It really gets you fired up and motivates you to do better.
Nice. So there's a lot of stress that goes with this. So what struggles did you have early on getting yourself going?
Yeah, I think it's pronunciation. That's the hardest thing when you first start. Sometimes you stumble over your words.
There's a lot of different names out there.
A lot of different names, pronunciations. That could be a struggle. But I think the biggest thing was just finding my style of broadcasting, because sometimes when you start, you want to be like somebody else, and that's just not the way to be.
You got to make your own thing.
Yes, you want to be yourself. You want to have your own style, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in some of our next questions too. But I think finding my style was a difficult part in my early broadcasting career.
All right. So I feel like going through getting your own style, you definitely must have, like we asked Will, a favorite game.
Yeah.
Probably one that brought this to the forefront.
Yeah.
Really made, that's your stamp thus far.
Yeah, you caught me at the best time because it's last weekend. What I did against LSU. They played the number 11 team in the country, YSU did. Just a great experience going down to one of the best college baseball stadiums in the country. A box that was right behind home plate, and it was a beautiful view with LSU Tiger Stadium behind center field, and just unbelievable experience. And to go toe to toe with one of the best teams in the country was a really great experience, and I thought it was one of my best broadcasts I had, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does sound really exciting. So you say you travel with them, across the country and whatnot?
Yeah, this year I'm going to try to. It's tougher with COVID just because, you might have to find your own ride or your own transit to the ballpark. But I'm going to try my best to get to as many away games as I can. And, it's a great experience because the team, brings me in like I'm a part of the family. I talk to them at batting practice. I get to talk to all the coaches, and, they feed me, so I can't be more appreciative of what they've done for me so far here in the early part of this season.
That sounds like a really true bonding experience.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great.
So you do a lot for the collegiate level stuff?
Yeah.
YSU? Yeah,
I mean, I do other stuff besides YSN, which is for YSU athletics, which is volleyball, basketball, baseball, which is YSN. So yeah, I like to be involved in a lot of the collegiate play-by-play broadcasting here at Youngstown State.
So a lot of professionals also do collegiate work. So you're on your way up to that next step. So Who's your favorite professional play-by-play announcer?
Yeah, my favorite play-by-play broadcaster is Tom Hamilton, and he's the play-by-play guy on the radio for the Cleveland Indians. I've listened to him since I was a little kid. He's the reason I've actually got into broadcasting. Just the pure joy and excitement he brings out in a broadcast. He also has a lot of humor that he throws in there as well, and I always wanted to be like him. And I alluded to this earlier. That's kind of the struggle I had early in my broadcasting career. I wanted to be such like Tom Hamilton that I didn't sound like myself. So, it was finding my style. Yeah, it was finding my style after a couple of games that I was like, okay, I need to find my own way to do this, my own calls, and my own pronunciations, my own humor, just be myself. And I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest lesson I've learned here in my broadcasting career.
Because people want someone to be unique.
Yes, exactly.
They want to hear something special every time they get on and they watch this game or listen in. They want to hear something special, and you want to make something special for them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Tom Hamilton, he calls 162 games a year, and I think if people hear that over and over again, they want something new, right? You don't want two people to sound the same. It just gets boring and dull. So yeah, that was just one of the lessons I've learned. But I've also learned a lot of things from Tom Hamilton that I brought into the broadcast that I don't want to sound like him.
All right. So with things you learned, so to all our viewers that might want to get into this business stuff, what crucial information could you give to them to like get a little jump start?
Yeah, to get a jump start, I think the biggest thing is get involved outside the classroom. I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, I always relate this to an athlete. If you go to practice and you go home, that's not going to be good enough, right? You're not going to be better than your teammates. You're not going to be good on the field. I think the biggest thing is go to class, you know, learn as much as you can. And this is great what we're doing and here, a full studio performance. But getting out of the classroom, doing play-by-play outside, and trying to really connect with different people, that's the biggest thing, is you meet people along the way. Like, I have met certain people that have got me more opportunities because I was introduced to them by going out in the field and doing that. So I think the biggest thing is just going out, and it teaches you valuable lessons too. It teaches you to really work hard. You're going to spend long days and long nights broadcasting games. Sometimes there's rain delays. Sometimes you got to go back after a second day. There's double headers that you're going to have to go through. And that teaches you preparation because you always got to be prepared. Hard work is a big thing in broadcasting. So that would be the tips I would give to a young broadcaster trying to get that jump start.
It is not for the faint of heart, that is for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. And there you have it. Ins and outs of YSN. Will and Richie, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you again for sharing your experiences with YSN. And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show, our daily Top 10 with Drew Schinbeckler.
Thank you very much, Preston. That's right. It's time for the Early Show Daily Top 10 list. This morning, our topic is near and dear to our hearts as YSU Penguins. The top 10 most annoying things for a student attending Youngstown State University. And here we go. Number 10, parking in the M70 lot in 20-degree weather, and then you realize your class is at Bliss Hall. Burr. The only thing that's worse than that is if you have to pee, and that's the worst case scenario. Makes the list. Number 9, traffic. It's everywhere on campus, whether you're walking, driving. None of us can fly. It would be nice, but it definitely makes the list. Number 8, parking service tickets. Just no, okay? I was parked there less than 5 minutes. Are you kidding me? Definitely makes the list. Number 7, walking behind someone slow when you are trying to walk at the speed of light to make it to class on time. Run, Forrest, run! Makes the list. Number 6, blackboard. Need I say more? Never works when you need it to, and it only works when you don't want it to. Makes the list. Number 5, the mask police at Mag Library. They're always watching, always watching. Doesn't matter if you're 20 feet apart, 100 feet apart, pull it down a centimeter. Hey, put that mask back on. Makes the list. Number 4, card readers on campus. Whether you want to print something or go to the rec center, it seems like it's at least going to take you 3 tries to get anywhere. Makes the list. Number 3, YSU's football team never winning an away game. Ooh, sorry guys, go Penguins. Makes the list. Number 2, when your next class in the day is 5 miles apart in every direction with 10 minutes to get there before the start of class, you can never move fast enough, it makes the list. And drum roll, the number 1 most annoying thing being a student at YSU is always needing just one more class before you can graduate. That 5th year life, right? There it is, boys and girls, your daily Early Show Top 10. I'm sure you can agree with some of these, right, Preston?
Mayhaps I can. Mayhaps I can. Well, what a way to start the morning, boys. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you, Drew, as well for the Top 10 segment. And to all those watching, thank you again for joining us this morning. I hope, like myself, you learned something on the Early Show. Until next time, I'm Preston Bosley. Stay safe and have a great day.